This video is for new time mums suffering from aching feet and ankles. Now, this was a question that was submitted by one of our Instagram followers, a new time mum suffering from foot and ankle pain and wondering what to do about it. So if this is you, make sure you watch it all the way to the end, because I'm going to take you through the top 3 things that you can do if you're suffering from foot and ankle pain post-natally. Make sure as well, if you are suffering from this pain, send us a private message because we can help you out with this sort of thing. So here's the problem, right? You've just had your first child. You've gone from previously a probably pretty fit and active, healthy lifestyle where you go out to work each day, you're wearing shoes each day, pretty socially active, all of those sorts of things, right? And then when your new one comes along, your life changes completely. All of a sudden, you're at home most of the day. And unfortunately, when we're at home, we tend to not be wearing footwear, or if we're not barefoot, then we're in something like thongs or slippers, that sort of thing. You're not getting out and about as much as what you used to, you know. Your new full-time job is looking after your child at home. Not to mention your child is getting heavier and heavier each day. And what starts to happen after a little while is you feel a little bit of a niggle, probably underneath the arch of the foot or in the heel, or potentially in the sides of the ankles. You don't really think too much about it at the time, assume it'll just go away. And then what happens over a couple of months, it tends to get worse. And for some women, it can worsen to the point where it's actually difficult to put your foot down first thing in the morning. The pain gets so severe that it's difficult to walk in the morning, let alone walking around on the tiles at home, carrying your bub everywhere that you go. The thought of going out to the shopping centre and standing in a queue is like murder. You know, the pain gets really, really severe for some women, and we don't want that for you, obviously, and we don't want it for any of our patients. So I'm going to take you through the top 3 things that you can do about it, because this is really manageable. All of these conditions that happen in the foot and ankle are really, really manageable. So if you're suffering from this, make sure you send us a private message because we can help you out. All right, so here we go. What we want is to take you from being in lots and lots of pain to being able to enjoy the first 6 to 12 months of looking after your new child. You should be creating happy memories, not worrying about foot and ankle pain. So let me take you through the top 3 things that you can do about your foot and ankle pain. Okay, so here's number 1. Number 1 is stretch. Most of the times, most of the conditions that we see for foot and ankle pain respond really nicely to stretching of the basic foot and ankle muscles. Now, I'm going to run you through some stretches that you can try in a separate video next week. But if you do know some basic foot and ankle muscle stretches, you can start trying that immediately. Normally, we respond quite well to that. Second thing you can do is get yourself into some supportive footwear. Okay, so if I asked you, you know, if you're buying a new pair of shoes for going to work and I asked you what are you thinking when you're buying your work shoes, you normally think I need something supportive and comfortable. Okay, so your new job at home is looking after your child, and wearing supportive footwear when you're doing that, even though you are in the home environment, is just as important as wearing a pair of shoes out to your 38-hour-a-week full-time job. There's actually no difference in that. We just don't think of it because we're at home. If your arches have completely fallen, you may need to consider orthotics as well as the supportive footwear, and that does tend to happen quite a lot after delivery as well and throughout the pregnancy, because you're putting so much more pressure through your feet compared to the usual. All right, and then the third thing I would suggest is make sure that you are getting back to a normal level of exercise as soon as practical after the delivery. Okay, so everybody will be a little bit different in terms of time frames of when it is safe to return back to exercise. So it is important that you get some advice from your health professional, ideally a women's health physio, so that you know when it is appropriate to go back and what to do, because it is different from woman to woman. However, my rule with my patients is that if you haven't returned back to some form of exercise, even if it's only a small amount and something very basic, by 8 weeks, then normally that's a sign that we need to do some work with you to help you progress back to exercise eventually, okay? Because if you're not back to relatively normal by 8 weeks, that normally means that there's something not quite right, okay? So if I've described your life in this video, I know I've asked you twice now, but if I'm describing the symptoms that you're having, please make sure you send us a private message so that we can help you out. Now, I've been doing women's health physio for a number of years now, and it's a really, really common problem. It's unusual that we aren't able to help somebody out with foot and ankle pain postnatally. In fact, I can think of a patient last week that actually finished her treatment plan with me. She came in with heel pain. She'd been having it for a couple of months, and it took 6 weeks of physiotherapy, changing the footwear, and then doing some stretches at home. And in 6 weeks, she's now pain-free, and she doesn't have to worry about that every day when she's looking after her new baby, okay? So 6 weeks in the scheme of months of pain is really not a lot. All right, so this stuff is manageable. So please, if you're having this issue, send us a private message so that we can help you out. Or if you have any questions, you can send us that in a message as well, or you can even comment the question below and we can answer it, because chances are if you're thinking of a question, other people would probably benefit from hearing the answer as well, okay? If you have anyone that you know that might benefit from seeing this video, tag them below. Next week, what I'm going to do is take you through some stretches that you can trial at home for foot and ankle pain. All right, so thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week.